Oh, this is new. Fairoo. This is iron. This is a good one. 13010. I'll stick one of these in my safekeeping chest. Welcome to Enigmatica 2 Expert Extended Edition. The topic today is going to be IC2 crops. As you can see in the distance here, I have a few areas set up. The goal of today's video is going to be taking an empty plot like this and making it look something like this. I just want to point out these weeds here. They are not a mistake, but if you're not careful, this can quickly turn into that. I'm growing this for the drops. The weeds are actually used for mystical agriculture, another mod in this pack, so kind of just kept this off to its side. Over in my base, I had actually started with sugarcane, and eventually I got stickweed, which drops this. And this is what stickweed is down here, this kind of sugarcane looking thing with the orange tips. And just by growing a 9x9 of that, I got all these different mutations down here. And I just want to preface this by saying this is not a tutorial on how to do things, the most efficient way, because I'm not using this crop matron, which is supposed to make things a lot easier. I just don't have the resources to put into it. You put in fertilizer and water and weed X, which is like a weed killer. Apparently it has a bit of a negative debuff, so I've just avoided using it. Taking a quick look at some of these seeds here, we have an unknown seed you can see in the tooltip. It's actually a stickweed. I right click on it. It uses a little bit of power. It actually uses a lot of power. I had to make this battery because this thing itself would lose power so quickly. If you click on it, it uses a little bit of power, but it tells you it's a stickweed. It's growing to size 4, and the nutrient, water, and weed X, it's all 0. And so is growth points, and I don't exactly know what growth points is. I would love to know that. Also, looking at the crop analyzer, you see how it says press the side inventory numpad 7. I'm not sure what it is by default, but I changed mine to numpad 7. So if I hit that, you get a bit of a calculator. I honestly haven't found it very useful because every combination that I've made in here, input 1, input 2, it's always kind of like a 70% chance this. And if you have two different things, actually, you'll have like a 30% chance. And then the rest are kind of a 1.5, and then it just kind of decreases. Well, I haven't actually found this too useful, but at the same rate, I'm also wondering what the points mean. So I don't really use that calculator at all. And a lot of these seeds, I don't even know what they are. I don't know what their stats are. I don't really care. They're kind of all around this 1206, 1006. I think originally I had started with these reed seeds at 926. I had bred them up to this point, and then I just kind of gave up with that. I decided just to mutate them. Everything here in this area is kind of a distant relative of this. So if you left click, you drop the bag sometimes. Sometimes you get 0, sometimes you get 1 to 2. You run it through here once, you get that, second time, third time, and a fourth time, and it uses quite a bit of power. So I try not to do that very often. And notice the stats are basically the same. From my understanding, don't quote me on this, but growth, you kind of want it around 20. Any higher than that 23, 24, weeds will spread like crazy from it, so you don't want it much past 20. Gain is your drops. I've heard if you get it up to 30, you can get like 6 drops, 0 to 6 drops. I'm not worried about these stats right now, so I'm just trying to get the different types of seeds. I'll worry about breeding them up later. I don't know if that's the most efficient way, that's just what I'm doing. And the resistance. I'm used to agriculture, where you want to get like a 10-10-10 seed, or a 10-10-10 chicken from the chickens mod. This is kind of different. A resistance that's too high, I think like, I don't know what it is, over 10, 15 or 20, something like that, is actually bad. It won't mutate to another plant. It also won't get weeds. So you don't really want a high resistance until you actually have the seed that you want. So for right now, I don't care that it's down at 0. And also these crop sticks. If you're not going to plant something at the crop stick or at the cross crop, break it. Because if I was to walk away from this, filming this video, and not pay attention, all of it's going to go to weeds. Because, again, there's no weed control here. Fortunately, I'll put this back. It really does feel truly random at some point, because you can throw down like milkwort, what is this, Terra, eating plant, a man-eating plant if I step on it, and then blaze powder made just, what is this, cyan dye. And then I took a massive crop of this blaze powder thing and was spreading it, and I got a stick reed back with, what is this? I didn't even notice that. That's eggplant, that's new. And gas tier stuff. I've added my system time to the mini map at the top right hand corner of the screen, 546, just to kind of let myself know how long everything's going to take. It was probably 2 to 3 hours. There we go. You can take sugarcane and plant it. A lot of the foods, like the pumpkins and the wheats and all that, you can just slap them down in crop sticks and they'll grow, but a lot of the other stuff you gotta mutate, which is part of the game, I guess. So right clicking on this guy, we're at crop size 2 out of 3. I probably should point out the quest book has a small little section here, crop breeding. IC2 crop breeding is cheap, available early. It's one of the fastest ways to grow sugarcane. And I also think sugarcane grows super fast. Notice I didn't even use my time in the bottle, which is what I plan to use here. I got 61 hours because I idle a lot on my server. So if you throw down crops like this, it should spread. Let's actually analyze. This is the first one that I placed. Notice I got 2 seed bags from it. Lots of reed. So right off the get-go, when you just plant these, stats are actually 302. I've checked this quite a few times. In the interest of wasting power, I'll check it again. But yes, 302. Which I don't care about. These ones I had upgraded to this level. So when you put something in the middle, it potentially can crossbreed, right? But if you just do something like this will just jump over. And that'll be important later on. Three, four, one. So in the interest of saving time, you can just trust that it's not that much work to go from this point to this point because these stats here are still pretty crummy. And I got all this stuff from them, so I think that's what I'll do. So I don't want to just break these and hope that I get 2 seed packs out of them, because I could easily get 0. They're kind of my last decent ranked seed at the reed level. It's always important to keep them in, a container like that. At the risk of losing them to weeds, I'll have a quick look in here. But these are all my different types of seeds that I've got. Notice some of them I've checked and scanned, other ones I haven't. I've just tried to capture them. There's a lot of good stuff in here too. Like Terrawort's really good in this pack. Tear stalks drops gas tears. Slime. Milkwort's pretty good too for some reason, I forget. I guess looking at the time right now, it's basically 5:50. Oh, weeds, gotta be careful. I think when they get fully grown, that's when they go chaotic. And sometimes I think the crop sticks actually break. Then you gotta throw down them again. Oh my goodness. That was weird. Lucky I got these worms here. Actually additions that keep the soil fertile even if there's not water. Here's a new plan. Let's break them all. Pick them up. A lot of this stuff just feels more awkward because I'm trying to do it on camera and talk my way through it, which is not my strong point. I'm getting rid of these, otherwise weeds are just going to grow. This is honestly probably one of the slower parts because I'm just trying to get a large area of this type of seed, kind of like how I did that. Notice how big this area was, and I'd already got a couple mutations. And also notice I don't know what a lot of these seeds are. They're all unknown. I'm going to throw these away because I don't want to plant them. They're low. I guess I'll just break these down now and hope... Nah, you know what? I'll just crossbreed them. What is it, 556 right now? The fun part is tick accelerating everything and then trying to keep up with the weed growth. Also, something that you might not consider in this pack is the expense of crops, because wood and sticks and all that are quite expensive unless you've got early game, you know, doubling. I'm trying to debate if I should just knock these all down and replant them or just start picking away at a diagonal. I think I'm just going to pick away. What's kind of nice about doing it this way is you're so preoccupied that you don't even have to time in the bottle it, because by the time you're done... Uh-oh. Time you're done, stuff's already growing. What's this? Oh, that's something different. That's a potato. So I don't know this to be true with this potato, but I have kind of observed that when you start getting food in here, the food is more likely to grow another type of food. So I kind of want to get rid of it, but at the same point, science, I guess I'll leave it. Oh, another weed. We got flax again. So in these kind of cases, I think it's interesting to try to get these to spread. And I don't know if it matters, but whenever there's a bunch of crop sticks like that, I just throw a seed down. That way this thing might mutate this way or this way. And this is also another concept too, that let's say this was a really good crop. I don't want to just try to left click it and hope it drops, because it might drop nothing and then you've just wasted a lot of time. So you want to try to get it to transfer, transfer and then try to break the offshoot. Same with this. I guess I can try to get it to spread. Oh, this is interesting. This is, you just hit it like this. If it was a weed, it would break, so that's not a weed. I don't want to get too focused over here that I forget to not watch for weeds. What's this? Right there. Okay, so we got the potatoes to spread. What's interesting though is this corpse plant. Oh, and we do have a stick reed. So at this point here, it would be interesting to start poking a bunch of checkerboard patterns through this, just to try to get more happening. Just need to make sure there's no weeds on that far corner. And there is. I haven't said it already, this is kind of just a shotgun approach. Probably should have mentioned it earlier, but Apparently you're supposed to have dirt below these blocks, like 3 to 4 levels below. And this particular area was a bit of a hill, so I carved it down. So I actually tried to make most of it dirt. It might not be perfect, but whatever. Certain materials, like the gold or the iron or the tin plant, will actually require the ore below it to. Oop, that spread. Will actually require certain things below it. Like there's I think the man-eating plant requires lava below it, iron ore, gold ore for certain plants to actually drop their loot, for lack of a better word. Kind of stumbling over my words here because I'm so focused on not letting the weeds ruin my progress. So I don't know if the sticky reeds are any better. I think it is purely RNG, but I do know it wasn't even half at this point that as soon as I got these, I just converted my whole crop into the stick reeds because they're so good. I can definitely see why you would want to use sugarcane though, because it grows so fast. So Cyanite is some kind of a dye, which could be interesting for mutations. This is an interesting one. It's surrounded by 3 different types of crops. Just kind of run a random pattern through the middle here. I think once I get to the end, I'm just going to start throwing these seeds on the ground. However, these seeds are what you need to make fertilizer. So if you were to keep them all and to macerate them, and combine them with bone meal, I think it is. Yes, bone meal, scrap from the macerator, any type of seed. But I don't really have the inventory and storage capacity to micromanage that yet, so I'm not going to worry about saving them. Okay, so that's cool. Let's try to get you to do something. More weeds. As long as you're not tick accelerating it with the time in the bottle, it shouldn't get too out of control. These are the threat right here. Because I don't have a cross stick, they're definitely just going to turn to weeds. This at least has a chance of turning into something else. These are just going to spread. You step on that thing, it eats you. Not sure how much of this I'm going to cut. It's definitely just repetition at this point. Well, I gotta say, it's approaching the 1 hour mark, maybe 40-minute mark, and none of the stuff's that good. So clearly I have enough seed bags to make fertilizer, I guess, if I wanted to, because I am wasting a ton at this point, but come this far. Doing things the hard way. This spot could be interesting. 3 sticky reeds and a corpse plant. Oh, I got some blackthorn cropping up now, a second one. I think I can try to pick it up, other than the fact that there's too many seed bags everywhere. Try to pick this one up, left click. Cool, it dropped a bag. What's this? More blackthorn. Don't forget to place down the crop stick. Sometimes I scan them just enough to see the name, and one of them I'll just look at the stats, 1134. So, okay, this is a tulip, but it very easily could have been the one that starts with a V, Veno, something. Phenomela. It's a little darker, but what it does is it spreads a ton of weeds. You know what? Making a plot actually this size is a little more awkward to deal with than that first size. So this is probably close to an hour, maybe just over an hour. I got corpse, potato, carrot, flax, more carrots, blackthorn or something, corpse, a tulip, cyan, stick reeds. I guess I got a bunch more stick reeds over there. It's not as useful actually as the stuff I'm getting out of that one. So I'm kind of inclined to take these stick reeds and spread them. You know what? 2 stick reeds does have a higher percentage for blaze, which is what that is. So maybe it is worth gathering these and trying to start an area. Try to get those stick reeds to spread. Oh, this is new. Fairoo. This is iron. This is a good one. This is actually iron ore. The catch is though, it's not going to go to crop size 4 to 4 until there's a block of iron ore below it. I don't think it matters where. I think it's within a couple blocks. Not sure about that though. So I need to get this one to spread. All these seeds that I picked up. Hops. Hops is something else that's new. I wonder if this will have a higher percentage to swap. Oh. Nice. If it was fully growing, but it's already spread. What has this been, an hour and a half now? I would say for the most part, nothing here was too valuable. I did get iron, the Fairoo plant, and then I've started transplanting the stick reeds, all the orange stuff, because it seemed to have more crossbreeds, but it also could just be RNG. Maybe one day I'll actually use the crop matron. Where is it here? This guy? And find that it's 1,000 times easier. Try to pick up this iron. Nice. $13,010. I'll stick one of these in my safekeeping chest. Well, for the moment, I think I'm done with this little experiment. I will break the crop sticks that have nothing in them. Because I might continue this later on tonight. That's problematic. That's a giant reed. Giant weed.